3, 2. So conceptually, relational motion, patient active, right? So those are the two things that are really at play here. Contact as control is always here. So what we're thinking about is the neck, right? So we want to get a patient active approach while we don't particularly contract the neck. You can work in the coronal plane. It is much tougher. Rotation does way more of what you want. You all sort of found this, just a general, whoa, Bundy. Most of you don't know that. So I'll show you from here side bending and what it would look like, but really rotation is going to do much more of what you want. So good contact. So I'm going to pull into the patient or come into the patient. Now the problem is on this table, it's high for me and it's wide, right? So I do have to have my knee up. You don't always have to do this depending on the table. So I'm going to bring them into me right now. If I'm going to side bend them right, generally speaking, I want a yoke there. So it's almost like a fulcrum to have him move over. Here, side bend him this way. Right now, what I'm thinking about is I want the head and neck still, and I want to move the torso, right? So what I'm going to have him do, this is where it's a little funky. Side bend your body to the right, and let it relax. Good. Now side bend your body to the left, right? Did you do that with your body or your neck?
It was my neck.
Okay, not that. Okay, so here's the deal. You can do that. So that is your classic muscle energy or PNF type approach. But what we want to do is I want to think about his right ear and his right shoulder getting closer together. So I want his torso to move. So side bend your torso to the left.
That's it.
The left.
I am, yes.
Okay, do a little bit more. There you go. Now you see them happening. And let that relax, right? And now did you see how his ear got closer to his shoulder? Right, that's what we're looking for. So side bend your torso to the left, and then let it relax. There you go. And that, at the end, it'll happen. That's the relationship we're looking at. So the other thing to keep in mind is what do you want to get closer together? Now in rotation, what we're looking at, so turn your head to the right a little bit. There you go. So that's the start. That's working really good. We don't have to do a lot here. We'll pretend that it can only go this far. So now we're looking at his chin and his shoulder, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here. I don't want his head to be able to turn to the left, so I'm going to block the left. You can do it this way because then you would do it with your fingers. But generally speaking, you would block the side that you don't want them to move to. So now all I'm going to do is I'm thinking about the relationship between the chin and the shoulder. Turn your torso to the left. See, they get closer as long as I block, right? And then when he lets go, because my forearm's here, or I could do it with my torso, I just block the shoulder. Okay, so turn to the left again and let it relax, right? So see how that came back? The relationship didn't improve. Twist to your left and let it relax. Now they improve, right? So, because I don't let the shoulder come back. So what you're thinking about is the relationship between two things. It's relational motion. I want the torso to move, but I want the head and neck to stay still. Okay, so if you go into, actually spin and face me, just for the purposes of the camera. So you won't see this perfectly, but it's the same thing when you're in front of the patient. A little bit more space there, right? Hands here. Thank you. Come forwards, right? So I'm going to put them right on my chest. Okay. Turn your head to this side, right? So now I've gotten in there. Now I'm thinking about, again, the chin and the shoulder. So I want you to, this is your left side? Mm-hmm. Sweet. Mildly dyslexic. Okay. Turn your torso to the left and relax. Okay, just a little smoother for yourself. If it goes too forceful or too hard, the problem you run into is that the muscle spindle might activate in the neck. So nice and smooth, just twist your body to the left, not your head, your body. There you go, and let that relax. This hand is where the magic is going to happen. So his head is stabilized on my chest. You can use a pillow if you need more of a barrier, but he's stabilized there. I don't have to do a lot. I'm going to also protect his neck, but as he turns his torso to the left, and when he relaxes, let it go. It's this hand that lets the right shoulder come closer to the chin, right? Because if I'm not there, turn your torso to the left, let it relax, nothing happens. Mm-hmm. So the contact is the control. If I was going to do this passively, it would look something like that. I would just do that, right? It would be all on this arm, right? So it's the thing that stays still and the thing that moves. Lay on your back for a second. There you go. Okay, so patient active here, nice and easy. Turn the head this way, right? I'm just going to control the head and the neck. I'm going to be able to palpate here. So your classic MFR, is not MFR, muscle energy or PNF deal is I would have him contract in this area. So turn your head this way and let it relax. And then I would get some. The challenge there with that approach is that the muscle spindle could turn on because of the stretching that will happen. The primary mechanism that people would likely talk about would be the refractory period on the motor nerve. Got to make sure I use the right words. So in this case, though, if what I have you do is I have you push your left shoulder into the table and let it relax, right? That didn't do what I wanted. I'm going to test. Your right shoulder, push your right shoulder into the table and let it relax. I did a little bit of what I wanted. Cross your arms on your shoulders. So this is where you actually have to test. You need the ability to test through a series of solutions to see if it does what you want. Now what I want you to do is turn your torso to the right. There you go. That's what I'm looking for, is the chin to come closer to the shoulder, and then let it relax. And as he relaxes, I follow him. So turn to the left, or the right again, sorry. Now, as he goes smooth when you let go, so come back to the middle, I take him a little further. So it's just about that chin and that shoulder. So I'm figuring out what I want to get closer together. I'm also trying to avoid any opportunity or as many opportunities to excite a muscle spindle as possible in the area that I'm working on. That's one of the reasons you can run into trouble with your muscle energy approaches or your PNF approaches, because you contract and relax the muscles that you're trying to work on or in that region. So it's just about that relationship. There you go.